Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my November reading TBR jar, November hopefuls type video. I don't do these a ton because I am a mood reader and I never stick to a TBR. So I don't really make these videos because I think I just can't really hold myself accountable because my mood changes so much and I really just want to pick up whatever, and that's what happens. So, but this November, I kind of am excited to do something completely new and completely different. I don't know if you've seen the trends online to do a personal curriculum, and this could be anything. Either you just kind of create an agenda for yourself, whether that's like personal goals, things like that, or people are taking it to the other extreme where they are literally giving themselves kind of like a course to take about a topic that they really find interesting, and they're going to read books about it, kind of have like, not homework, but just kind of immerse themselves into it. And I am someone who did awful in high school, but something clicked in college where I absolutely just fell in love with learning, and I kind of learned how to learn and work and figure out school in my own way, which is something I was not able to do in high school, but the flow of college really just clicked with me and I love it. Of course, I feel like this is everyone's like cry for help of not knowing what to do in life and would love to go back to grad school, but the funds and everything else, just not the time. So with that, I will have a complete separate video going through my personal curriculum for this kind of winter arc months, but I have a lot of books that are on my TBR that go with the topics. So with that, let's get into the books. So the curriculum that I am kind of assigning myself is all about King Arthur, knights, and just that whole kind of vibe, just that whole thing. Learning about lady knights as well too, just kind of the whole vibe, because I think lady knights, that whole idea, has kind of had a resurgence lately, a la The Knight and the Moth, which might be one of my favorite reads of 2025. Definitely one of my favorite new authors. Definitely love Rachel Gillig. So pick her up. But with that, with going with the whole King Arthur vibe too, I have 2 books on my TBR that I am so excited to get to. I can't even. The first book being Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I have read Legendborn before. I read this when this came out. It's so good. This book gave me everything I needed as a girl who loves King Arthur. This is such a fresh new approach and take on it, and I am so excited. However, this is a series. I have the second book on my bookshelf. Have I read it? No. These books were coming out in a time of my life where I was definitely on the struggle bus. So they've been sitting on my shelf forever, just waiting for me to read it. And I thought, what better month than November, my birthday month, my little time, my little treat to myself by giving myself homework. So Legendborn, I'm going to read this quick synopsis so I get it all correctly. But this follows Bree as she witnesses a magical attack after her mother's death. And we kind of jump forward, and that is the prologue. And then we jump forward into the first chapter. Well, she is attending this kind of pre-college program at UNC Chapel Hill. And there she kind of discovers this secret society of people who are descendants of King Arthur and his round table. And she gets swept up in that. And the mage, who's kind of like Merlin, tries to wipe her memory, but it doesn't work. And so now she's kind of swept up in this, and she has to kind of find answers to her own magic, her mother's death, there's dark secrets, so many things happen, and it is so good. Like, it is so good. Also, a little bit of like a love triangle starts to happen at the end of this. It's everything you want in a YA fantasy book and everything you want in a King Arthur reimagining. So that's why she's on the list. The next book is The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. I have heard that this is a great step into the King Arthur retellings or just in the world. Literally some of the blurb on the back, like from Rebecca Yarros, for anyone who's ever craved a seat at the round table, utterly enchanting. George R. R. Martin blurbed it. He said, if you love King Arthur as much as I do, you'll love Lev Grossman's The Bright Sword. I am so excited. Here's a quick synopsis. It says, The Bright Sword is the first major Arthurian epic of the new millennium. Set during the dark, chaotic aftermath of Arthur's death, it's the story of the last survivings of the Round Table, a motley band of knights and one enchantress who might keep Arthur's legacy alive and rebuild Camelot before it's too late. Doesn't that sound just so good? I think it's also kind of like humorous a little bit too, but I am just so excited to do this, get into this. Like, I think this is going to be so fun in my King Arthur journey of a time. I also remember when I first got into King Arthur, it was literally from like Meg Cabot, who is the author of the Princess Diaries series. She wrote this book like Avalon High, and then I think Disney Channel like remade it into a movie, and I remember being obsessed with it. It's really bad. It's not on this list for me to reread, but it kind of like sparked this whole thing about knowing about King Arthur. So in the vein of going with knights and the whole vibe as well too, let me bring up my phone, my notes. I also really want to read The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. This sounds so good. I believe it's like about, I think it's a sapphic book, but it's about like a lady knight and a witch, and it's kind of like forbidden romance, and it's them going through things in their life and them always coming back to each other. And it just sounds beautiful and so enthralling and perfect for having knights, because ladies can be knights too. And I definitely want to research more about during that time, like women during this time, and not like it was great, but even just legends of them and stuff like that. So that's another one on this list that I am super excited to read. So that's my King Arthur portion of my November TBR. The next one is a complete curveball between all of that and has nothing to do with that, but it is Dan Brown's new book, The Secret of Secrets. I am a huge Dan Brown book. He is my favorite I am a dad and I'm gonna read book. I just think his books are just so fun. You can't really take them that seriously. But you know, you can't go wrong with the Da Vinci Code and anything like that. I think if you need a little bit of a palate cleanser and a fast-paced book to just kind of throw yourself into, I think Dan Brown books are great. I think this one, he definitely explores like the concepts of like being dead, but like kind of being in this limbo state, and like magic, but like with our bodies. I don't even know really what it's about. I don't really go into these books having much about it, but it follows Robert Langdon, who all of Dan Brown books follow with this series, and he's just this kind of guy who gets swept up and has to solve all these things. He's like a bunch of symbols. I love how he like weaves like art and history and numerology and all of these things into like his thing. So honestly, Swifties, if you like that type of stuff, I think you love a Dan Brown book. So just saying. And then the one book that is coming out this month that I am so excited to get my hands on is Fallen Stars, which is Heavenly Body Book 2. I know it's technically maybe out on Kindle, and it has been for a while, but I love the floppy paperback editions that Barnes has, so I will be grabbing that. I believe it's the last week of November, so gotta grab her. So yeah, that is kind of my physical TBR. I'm not trying to do a ton of books because November is also a super busy month for me, but I'm also wanting to choose books that I'm like super excited about to read. So I will read, because the last couple months, to be honest, have been a rough reading time for me. I've been struggling to finish books, so I'm hoping that these babies can help me. Maybe honestly make me feel like I'm back in school, which I read a lot during school, so that'd be exciting. But to add even more to my TBR list, I thought it'd be fun to pick from my TBR jar, because I haven't really done this in a long time, and it might be good, and it might be fun to like add a kind of random pick in there and to help tackle my TBR, because I'm not going to be the person who is going to be tackling her whole TBR by the end of the year. That's just not going to be the case for me. I'm almost at my reading goal. I only put 20 books as my reading goal this year. I think I can make it because life's hard for me, and I'm also want to be a content creator and a book girly who is for the girls who can't read a ton every month, every year. And I want that to be totally okay. It is okay if you can't. It is okay if you cannot reach 50 books in 1 month, even 50 books in 1 year. That is totally okay. Just reading and just having a book in your life in general is such a privilege and such a nice time that it's okay, and we're all juggling life. This year has been a lot for many of us, and I just kind of want us all to just grab a good book and finish off the year strong, and so that's really what I'm wanting. But with my little Papa Top over, let's pick from her. Okay, I'm so scared. I kind of like don't want to look, so I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. I have one stuck. I have one here. Okay, ready? You guys are gonna look first. Oh my god! Wildwood Dreaming, Wildwood Dancing. Okay, let me grab this. She's right here. So this is Wildwood Dancing by Juliette Marillier. This is the first book I've ever had from her. I was in the bookstore and I was just kind of scrolling around, just kind of perusing the shelves, and this book just kind of leapt out to me. Honestly, by the cover, it's really hard because there's probably a glare, but it was just so, like, enchanting, and I was like, I gotta know what this is. And basically this is like 5 sisters, and they go into this, they sneak off into this magical world that only they know about, but then like dark things start to happen, and they are either gonna get trapped in there or they have to figure out what to do. And it just sounded like the perfect whimsical escape, and I think that's a lot of her books. I think all of her books are kind of set from fairy tales, very atmospheric, and honestly this could be perfect for the transition into more wintry vibes. I don't think it necessarily takes place in winter, but I think anything that has to do with fairy tales and fairies and magical worlds. I mean, let's be honest, I'm gonna read that any time of the year, but during kind of Christmas cozy time, it's perfect. So I'm actually super excited to add this to my TBR. It's not too long, and I think it also might be a perfect palette cleanser type kind of fairy tale vibe, even though I'm literally reading about King Arthur, which is also fairy tale vibes, but in a different way, Also might have to watch The Knight's Tale. Perfect movie. Anyway, this is our TBR jar pick. Actually am very excited about it. So with that, here are my 4 physical books that I have for this month. Getting 2 other ones for this month. So we have a total of what? 6 books? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a total of 6 books. So I have a total of 6 books for the month of November. I really want to try and do this, but you know, we'll see. Like I said, mood reader. But I hope you guys enjoyed this cute little video, and please be on the lookout for my personal curriculum King Arthur video. I'm actually super excited to kind of put that together and go on this journey with all of you. So let me know down below what personal curriculum topic you would love to do and you would kind of love to like learn more about. Always open for more ideas, and I hope you guys have a great November, and I will catch you guys soon in another video. Okay, bye.